Gemini's Saga is known for his power, but what would his true origin be? Could it be that the most powerful gold saint in history, the one who was able to assassinate the Grand Master and rule the sanctuary from the shadows for 13 years, had a mentor as cruel as he was? Or did his strength come from an absolute loneliness that almost no one ever knew? Hello, Knights and Amazons. Welcome to the channel. Always wanted to know, I'm Wes. In today's video, we're going to Athena's sanctuary to unravel one of the greatest mysteries of Saint Seiya. If you grew up watching Knights of the Zodiac, you definitely got chills when you heard the galactic explosion attack. But the question that won't go away and that many fans overlook is, who the hell trained Saga of Gemini? How did he gain the knowledge to pulverize the stars? Share your theories below, subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's dive into this video. To understand who could have trained Saga, first we need to look at what he is. Saga is not just a knight. He is the vessel of a cosmic duality that haunts the Gemini constellation. In the sanctuary, the Gemini Knight is often seen as a figure of extreme power, but also of immeasurable danger. Saga was born in Greece, and from a very young age, even as a baby, he was sent to the sanctuary in the form of a shooting star to become a knight candidate and a Seiya, whom we follow from basic training. Saga is already presented to us as a finished product, a holy knight among men. But let's get to the facts. The training of a gold saint usually begins before the age of 7. And at that time, the sanctuary was ruled by Seiya of Aries, the survivor of the previous holy war from 1743. Seiya was the supreme master, but he didn't personally train all 12 candidates all the time. He delegated the main part of each gold saint's specialization. And as we know, galactic explosion is not just a powerful attack, it's a technique of atomic manipulation at a stellar level. The user projects his cosmos to simulate the collapse of several stars in a galaxy, generating a shockwave that annihilates both the opponent's body and soul. Historically, the techniques of the Gold Saints are passed down from generation to generation. However, Saga and his twin brother, Kanan, lived in a peculiar isolation. Kanan was the Shadow, the unofficial twin whom the sanctuary pretended did not exist. This brings us to a fascinating theory that is very well grounded in the events of Saint Seiya. Origin Saga's training may have been self-taught, but under the influence of a divine entity. Saga was considered an angel for his kindness and cosmos. He was the purest, the kindest, one of Seiya's favorite candidates to be the next Grand Master. But while he meditated in the 12 houses, an evil star occupied his heart. When Saga was a baby, he and Kanan fell into the sanctuary. However, Chera, the goddess of destiny, sister of Thanatos and Hypnos, sent an evil spirit, a lemur, to possess the young man, prodigy of twins. So think with me. If Saga had the genetic and spiritual potential of a Gemini saint, and he was being watched, his understanding of the dark side of the cosmos may have come from this evil awakening. The Galaxian explosion requires a fury and a capacity for destruction that the good Saga might have been reluctant to access, but the evil Saga mastered with expertise. Although Seiya was not Saga's martial arts teacher in the strict sense, he was his intellectual and spiritual mentor. For years, Seiya saw in Saga the reflection of his old comrade in arms, the Gemini saint of his time, Cain. That's why he allowed Saga to access the forbidden archives of Star Hill in the sanctuary's library. Imagine young Saga, the prodigy warrior, reading ancient manuscripts about how to bend space and time. That's probably how he developed the other dimension. He didn't need anyone holding his hand. He had the cosmos of a god and the intelligence of a strategist. There's a detail that many forget. Saga and Kanan used to train together in secret. Kanan, the brother who would later become the general, Sea Dragon Marina was Saga's punching bag and sparring partner. Kanan's aggressiveness and Saga's refined technique created a powerful feedback loop. They became each other's masters, based on the conflict and rivalry between brothers. Here comes the answer to our initial question, Why isn't there a name registered as Saga's master? And the truth is that Saint Seiya works a lot with the concept of reincarnation and genetic memory of the cosmos. Saga didn't need a master to teach him the Galaxian explosion, just like a bird doesn't need lessons to fly. The knowledge was engraved in the Gemini gold cloth, in the sanctuary manuscripts at Star Hill, and in the soul of the night. The gold cloths have a will of their own and the memories of all their previous users. When Saga wore the cloth, he connected with millennia of galactic destruction history. Saga's master was the very legacy of the Gemini constellation. He was so talented that he managed to skip the basic steps and access the essence of the seventh sense cosmos almost instinctively. However, the price for that was very high. Without a master to guide his moral compass, like Dooku did with Shiryu or Kamos with Ioga, Saga became vulnerable to corruption. When Kanan suggested that they should kill Athena and take over the world, Saga's mental barrier, which was already being corroded by the spirit sent by Kerr, simply collapsed. He imprisoned Kanan at Cape Sunyan, but later Saga's evil side would do exactly what Kanan had suggested. After assassinating Sion at the top of Star Hill, a feat that required him to perfectly master the technique of hiding his presence, Saga assumed the identity of Grand Master in the manga, and for 13 years, he was the master of all the other knights. He indirectly trained an entire generation of soldiers. He knew how the sanctuary worked from the inside. He knew every secret passage, every security restriction. This shows that his training went far beyond combat. He was trained to be a leader, and that's why his downfall is so tragic. He had everything to be the savior of Earth. But the lack of a father figure or a master who could restrain his ego? No, he did have a master. Saga of Gemini is proof that absolute power without the discipline of a master leads to madness. He learned how to destroy stars, but he never learned how to destroy the darkness within his own heart. That's something that will only happen when Seiya expels Lemur's spirit from his heart with the light of Athena's golden shield. I hope this knowledge about the story of the Gemini saint has cleared up the mystery for you. Saga remains one of the most complex and fascinating characters in all of Masami Kurumada's work, and understanding the origin of his power only makes him even more imposing. Comment below where you're watching this video from, and thank you for watching until the end. See you next time. Burn your cosmos to infinity.